everybody, it's Cinnamon Coney, your art Sherpa, and today we're going to be painting a fuzzy, fuzzy, wuzzy bumblebee in front of a cute, fluffy thistle. This is very beginner friendly. This is all family friendly. On the mic is my husband.
Hi, guys.
And he's going to be tracking me with all these cameras, reading your comments, helping you with links and things that you need, along with those moderators. Those are those nice folks with the wrenches. Oh, I hope you're excited for today because I am. This is a very special Fuzzy Wuzzy Bee because this is Play Live. We are part of the DERP Squad, which is a team that actively campaigns for the hospital and research center, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, of which we are crazy fans. We love them. And so if you're loving this, and you want to tweet it out, you want to share, you want to create some awareness, we've got a link if you'd like to help the folks at St. Jude. Right down there in the description below, along with materials and, of course, the traceable that is on the website. Just really everything you need to know. If you click that more button is down there. I am so excited for this month. I want to thank everyone who's contributed so far and just say it's been fantastic. Now, I think we should jump right on in, and maybe John can thank some of the people that have helped us so far with our really cool infographic.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I will put this up. Let's see here. That one.
So, just so you know, our goal, I know it's a crazy goal, but our goal is, did I write 100,000 or 10K?
Let's see. It's a 10K.
Okay, thank goodness.
Think 1, 2, 3, 4. I can see 4 zeros.
Okay, I'm having a dyslexic moment.
Wait, no. Because you put a K after that.
Okay.
So
$10,000, not $100,000. Our goal is 10K.
Yeah, that's when you put a K.
So we have benchmarks. If we reach these, we're going to do cool things for you. I had that back so I know what my benchmarks are. My benchmarks, if we get to $3,000, which is a big dream, John's going to paint a ATC on video for you guys. If we get to 5K, this is crazy. I'm going to follow a Bob Ross tutorial, but here's the twist, in oils. If we get to 8, I'm going to show you the artwork I have from my childhood in college. And if we blessedly get to 10 and are really able to help St. Jude, we're going to show you our wedding video. And if you see there a bunch of the people who've sponsored us already, thank you guys so much. Thank you, John. I really appreciate that.
All right.
So I'm excited. So, I mean, like, those are the things that we're doing. Plus, there's really cool benefits to you guys, like gifts. The studies from these paintings all month are available. On the 19th, we're going to do last year's painting on an auction on eBay. There's fishing with stunt hands. We've got games with Sherpats, lots of stuff. Let's hop in.
All right.
I've got an 11 by 14 regular canvas board here. And of course, we have wishes on it. We have a wish from Morgan, who's looking for quick healing for her hand. Of course, we're looking for St. Jude to get all the support they need to stay open. We have a wish for Deb to Dag, her friend, has had a tremendous loss, and just strength and love and support for them because she's lost a very dear and important person in her life. Danielle, she is really liking her cat to come home. I'm hoping, because some of these are like from behind, I'm hoping your cat is already home and that wish traveled through time and got to you. Lynette for her mom's recovery, Kristen for speedy recovery, Erin for her family, Samantha healing and mental well-being for herself and her family, Jules for her family, and relief from multiple sclerosis, Ramona for those who are in chronic pain, and kids with ADD and ADHD, as we have in our family too, and Allie for her friend to have a good and peaceful crossing, and Caitlin for her health to improve. So those are our wishes. If you have a little brush in St. Jude treatment right now, of course, we wish your whole family just every well-being, but we know that you're getting it because they are taking care of you. Let's look at our paint colors. I'm a little wound up today, John.
Oh, I'm ready.
All right. So for this very easy project, we have titanium white, phthalo blue, quinacridone magenta, Diox purple. We have cad yellow, phthalo green, burnt umber, a little Mars black. I have these soft body paints. These are like craft paints, but these are high quality. You could just use craft paints too. I just really like these. I've got a black and a white. And then I'm planning on using a number 10 bright, a number 4 round, and a number 1. These are in my Art Sherpa brush line. And then I'm going to show y'all some cool angle stuff with this 1/2 inch Ruby Satin angle and this 1/4 inch angle. I'm going to show you how cool angles are. But if you don't have an angle or particular color, especially today, it's not a day you have to worry about it because you can do a lot of this with just a brighter round and you can change out the colors really easily on today's painting. So breathe and relax, and hopefully you're fully helping us on our St. Jude quest. I am going to take my misting bottle and spray my canvas. And the reason I'm doing that is twofold. One is that's going to help my little watercolor wishes sort of blend into the canvas here and become part of it. And two, I'm going to show you a really cool painting background, and it's nice if your canvas is a titch damp. Doesn't have to be, but it can be really nice for the flow of your paint. So I'm going to take my number 10 bright, dip it in water, and I'm going to get some of my white paint and a little of my glazing medium here in the center. I'll load it onto it and flowing nicely. If I have to mist, I will. And when this is all loaded, I'm going to brush this little section of my canvas with just the white paint. See this?
Yeah.
You guys do that at home. Just the white paint. Just the white paint. And you're like, but it's already white. Why paint it white again? I missed it. I am using a small dot mister. It's not doing heavy droplets. And that's going to help me very much not get too overwhelmed by water, because you can get a little overwhelmed by water. And I'm not painting this all the way to the top yet. This is all still pretty damp. And now I'm going to come get just a smidge. See, I'm coming to my phthalo blue, but I'm getting very, very little. I'm going to get some white on there and some blue. And then I'm going to just make these little streaks coming up. See that?
Yeah.
Into that already white paint. And what the white on the canvas is doing, besides helping this flow very well, is it's letting me get this really nice soft blend, which can be really hard sometimes, right, guys?
Yeah.
So this is a nice little trick that you can do. Just going along. Here we go. Just blending it up. Oh, there we are. See? Sky, but it's still that beautiful streak that I had in the design canvas. Now, my studio is dry, so I will miss more than you will. Because we are having some arid dryness in the house.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the AC unit pulling the moisture out. We don't really have to run the heater in winter, but we do seem to have to run it a lot more. Isn't this nice?
Huh.
You know, and you can do some areas where you've got it darker, see? We're just going to enjoy this. All the brush strokes on this are simple. I'm just doing these little upward strokes. See, I'm pressing the brush in and just pulling up, pressing in and pulling up. And sometimes I'm letting it go long, and sometimes I'm making it short. And I'm just loading a little bit. See how little there is on this brush? A little bit of the phthalo blue paint. And sometimes I just put that darker amount in. How nice is that? And I just work this till I'm happy with it. I want it to be a little lighter down below and then getting darker as it comes up into the sky. So I'm going to wet the top, rinse the color out of my brush real fast, get some more of my white. My glazing medium not only extends my paint, but it slows down the drying time. And that can be really helpful. Okay, just right back down into this, and you can see I'm having this nice blend. This is a way around some of those harder edges that you might be struggling with. I do not want water droplets running down my canvas. Right?
Yeah.
Not what I'm looking for. And it's okay if in that first white mix there's a little blue in it, because you're going to be just coming back with blue, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's okay if there is. I'm going to get a little more of my blue this time for coming down. You can see I'm just doing it a little bit stronger. And I have really tried to take this gorgeous image, but do a bunch of tricks. See, I'm just pulling down very lightly. I'm not pressing hard like this, so that's not bad. I'm just working it lightly.
Yeah.
But you can see even with this, if you had too much pressure, look how you'd be. You'd still be okay, wouldn't you?
I really like this background.
Yeah, I do too. We're going to see a bit more of these different little variations. And you know, you just...
And there's a lot of fans of the bee.
Oh, you guys are going to love doing this bee. Yes, there's a traceable, but you're going to love just putting him in.
We have even the little brush Cadence is out here trying it out with us today. She's like, I'm into it.
Hi, Cadence. You're going to love this painting.
I'm excited. I like the bees, especially the fuzzy
Fuzzy wuzzy
fluffy bees. Yeah.
And I just... a little mist there. But again, you don't want drips, and if you over mist your canvas, it's going to drip. So this is just something to be careful. Please, please be careful with the water. If you're concentrating, be careful with the water. I'll know you fast forwarded if you write me and you're like, I had too much water. Just, you know, you've got to go by your area. The reason I don't have an exact specific number of spritzes is that my conditions are quite dry, but your conditions might not be. And so that could really alter how your canvas looks. And then I'm just going to go until I'm super duper, doopity duper, happy, happy, happy. I want it to be a little bit darker over here. You can do this sky in any colors to match a bedroom or a home, you know, so you could get an aqua, you could get a purple. There's a lot of things that you could get. Just think about that. You've got to get your flowers to show. So you'd want to do one where your flowers were able to show, right?
Now, Pam was asking,
hi, Pam.
How do you keep the bubbles from showing up when you paint?
The bubbles.
Yep.
What bubbles?
Well, like if you're painting and like, you know, you get bubbles that are showing up on the canvas.
So I'm going to guess what you're saying is that you have a texture and the paint starts to cover it, but then it's like a film that pops.
I'm guessing like maybe it's a little too watery and it's a little...
Well, there's a couple things afoot. It could be your paint, but probably what it is that the coating on the canvas isn't taking the paint nicely.
Could be that.
Yeah. So what I would say is my first thing that I would do would be to maybe even rinse my canvas or use one of these misters and mist it down. I've used Flow Aid in water and just put water on the canvas. You could use this technique that I've got here. You could change canvases because a lot of the canvases don't do that at all, right? I'm just playing because I'm having a good time. And I just want to thank everyone who's like supporting St. Jude this month.
You're just bumbling along.
I'm just bumbling along.
Well, I can say thank you.
Bumblebee.
I can say thank you to some people.
Can you?
Yeah.
I want to thank some people.
Well, we can thank Miss Patty, and she's donated to us.
Thank you.
And Madonna.
Well, not to us, to St. Jude. It
Well,
goes
St. Jude.
directly to them.
That's right.
It does not pass go. It goes right to them.
That's correct. Everyone has just come in and donated to St. Jude through our team. And that's right. And we really appreciate that. All the benefits go directly to St. Jude, and that's what we're here to do.
Yep.
But I just wanted to say thank you to a handful of people who are, my little messages came up here.
Oh, I love it. Who else?
And I saw Carol and Carolyn and Fancy Nancy and Tatiana and Patty and Angel and Gail.
Thank you,
and
guys.
Angel Mac and NWB Arts.
You guys are the best. Thank you. This is the best thing that you could do. You cannot believe how amazing they are. They have been treating illness and curing incurable diseases since the 1960s when Danny Thomas had this vision of a hospital that took everybody, all kids, and regardless of race or gender or location, and didn't charge the family a single solitary cent for treatment, and released any of their cures or discoveries or breakthroughs to the medical world. So the cure for one child is a cure for all children.
Now, I see her starting to tear up. So before she cries, I'm going to say thank you guys for coming and hanging out
I'm
with
going
us
to draw my
today.
canvas while I'm feeling teary-eyed. That's what I'm going to do.
Wrong mute. Okay. So thank you guys for coming and hanging out. We really do appreciate this. It's one of the most magical things for us is being able to come and hang out with you guys, and being able to see all you guys out here and do this is just sort of a genuinely magical part of our life. So thank you for coming to lives. If you haven't made it to a live, do try to join us. If you can see in the chat, it's a heck of a lot of fun. Some things are on topic, some are not, but we always have fun there. You can find information about this and all the other projects
You're good.
in the description down below.
Sippy, sippy. Let's do a little dance.
Do a dance.
I got no bubbles.
You got no bubbles?
I got no music, but it's in my head. So that's...
Yeah. I can't. See, I've got monitoring headphones on that have like a 3 millisecond delay.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, so it
crazy.
It totally throws off my music rhythm.
He's actually pretty I'm the one who's not musical. He's actually pretty musical. So let's talk a little bit about placement so that there's a couple beginner things that get away from us. Sometimes when we're new to painting and we're trying to decide the size of objects, they can get kind of out of control on our canvas. So it's a good idea to stop and think about how much space you have for each object, and that will help you put mental brakes on. So up here, if you think of the canvas as divided into fours, if you divide it in the middle with your mind, in the middle again with your mind, Mr. B, right? He's like right
Bumbles.
here. Mr. Bumbles, Mr. Bumble Fuzzly Bee, he's like right there. So you got to leave room for him to be a bee. And I didn't want to put the stem in the corner. I wanted a nice curve coming up. So I'm going to curve a little stem with my chalk. This is just kids' chalk that you see on a chalkboard. And I'm going to draw a nice little circle here with my chalk. Right, so that I know where that's going to go. And this leaves me lots of room, doesn't it, to make the fluffiest flower that I want to make. I can be as fluffy as I feel like. Now I know I've got another flower coming here. I'm going to curve this. And I'll make another little ball. And that one could actually be smaller than the first ball or bigger. It's really up to you. These are your thistles. Nobody has a right to tell you nothing about your thistles. They belong to you. And the nice thing about chalkboard chalk is it will come off with a damp brush and clean water. So this is all I need to put in my bees. So see, I have a lot of room for thistle flower. I have a lot of room here. I have a lot of room for bee. So the first thing that might mess me up, I've seen it off at the pass, right? And so I want you to just take a minute, breathe in, breathe out. If you're very new to painting and you're sitting right now in this moment questioning if it can be done, I want you to know there's about 25 million people that have watched these videos that would tell you it absolutely can be done. There's so many people here who are on their 20th, 30th, 40th, 300th painting that will tell you at the beginning, your only job is just to complete the artwork and try to remember to have fun and breathe.
Breathe.
All right, I'm going to
breathe.
Just breathe.
You gotta remember all of the letters in that word.
All the letters in the word.
Especially the R, I think. Keep forgetting.
I miss my little area because, again, dry. Now I'm going to get some water on my brush a little bit. I'm going to do a cool thing. I'm going to add some of my glazing medium into this. This is going to help my paint not dry on the brush too much. And I'm going to grab my green and see how I'm coming from the edge, right? I'm grabbing the green from the edge of my brush, and I'm going to get a little of my brown. And this darkens my green, and I really like that, so I'm going to do more of it. I'll get a little of my glazing medium. Right, so that's just going to improve how this flows off of my brush. You can just thin it with water if you don't have this. Lots of things are like this, retarders, floating medium. I just like this one the best because it does several things in one product. Now, I'm going to make sure that my angle brush isn't too dirty, so I'll wipe that off because I was mixing paint with it. And I'm going to load it up. So see, I'm pulling, and then I'm going to pull from the other side. See, pull, pull. That's going to get a lot of paint into my brush, doesn't it? All kind of right there where we can have it. Now I'm going to come and I'm going to begin my stroke with the short bristles. Now in the case of this brush, the heel of our brush ends up being about here,
Oh,
and the toe ends up being about here.
there you go. Perfect.
There you go.
Hold on, let me
So you're going to begin your stroke with your shorter bristles and finish with your longer ones. Okay? I'm going to plant in, pressing hard. And then as I come up and I approach the area that I'm going to have the bulb, I just release it. Look at that. I'm going to load up again the same way. Say pull, 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 pull. And then press in. And just thicken this a bit. And then coming up and flowing up the line, lightening my pressure and releasing. That's not bad. Pull, 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 pull. I'm going to come right here. I'm going to press in. Pressing, pressing, pressing. But as I approach my thistle, what am I doing? I'm going to lighten my pressure, and that lightens the stroke. Could not be more fun, right? I'm going to pull a little more green into my mix. Grab a little of my glazing medium. I'm going to get a little more brown. And I'm going to come here, and I'm going to go to the outer side of my little bulbs here. And I'm going to just paint them the size I want them to be. And you can always come on the edge of your brush. These make very nice circles. If you've really been struggling with circles, your angles do that in a really incredible way. I love angles. And I'm going to just very lightly brush across. See how we did that?
Yeah.
Happy, 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 happy. There we go. Just painting that in. So that looks wonderful. You can get some more brown onto it and a little green. And come around this outside edge and just darken that a little bit right here. See how we did?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. It's got some nice little shading and a little personality to it. I'm going to load up again. And I bet you can guess where I'm going. Back over here, make my little circle. And just paint this in.
While you're painting that, I'm going to say thank you to Denise, who just donated, and Terry, who sent a donation with light and love. Liz, who donated to us.
Thank
you so much. And Jen.
Jake Jude.
Oh, yeah, and she sent one for her daddy.
Oh.
Donation for dad. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, they donated to St. Jude through our donation program, and we really appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
And St. Jude really appreciates it. They are the last stop. Sometimes the only place that's even willing to look at certain illnesses. They have treated the untreatable. I love them for it. They give us our flu shot, which you may or may not be fond of. And everything they figure out, they make sure that all the other doctors know. And it's incredible what they have going on. I took a tour. John even has a picture. I'm sipping my coffee.
I do. I can pull that up here.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I can do this. So I'll say let's.
I'm just having my coffee. Sippy. So this is me. I was actually privileged enough to be able to go to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital with a couple YouTube friends of mine, Hal Uback and Trade Chat. And there they are. And we got to paint with kids and take a tour and hear the history of the hospital, find out everything that they're about. And the creator of this particular team, she's been doing this for 6 years. So she's like incredible. So I want to just cheers Trade Chat and say it's like amazing. She's just raised hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. A bunch of your favorite YouTubers and art have come on board, and I'm just really grateful for your help.
And thank you to Anonymous and Samantha, who just put us over that, just hit that $600 mark.
Woo!
So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Well, we're gonna do some. We did it. We got that $600 mark. That's pretty good. You know, $600. That provides over an hour of physical therapy.
Yeah.
So
woo!
we just done over an hour. That's over an hour of physical therapy for somebody. So
that is a big deal.
Yeah, and when you look at what this can do for these kids is amazing. So we're gonna teach a painting. Sorry,
it's okay because we'll do that again too. We're teaching a painting and we're talking about one of our favorite things in the world. Yeah. I'm taking a little of my glazing medium and I'm kind of loading it in my brush. I'm gonna pull some of my green into here. This is still the 1/2 inch angle. I'm gonna grab a little of my brown, like we like to have. right? And then to be tricky, once I do my load, remember the load, I'm going to just grab a little of my yellow, like you do. And I'm going to actually start this with the heel. So now I've got the longer bristles coming down and the shorter ones coming up. And I'm going to kind of press in hard, and I'm going to come up and make a short little line like that. I'm going to come and get just even a little more yellow. And these are sort of spikies, and you can do this with a bright too, which is a little square. And I'm going to just make this little shape. See? And then I'm going to turn it and come down. And no, I'm going to keep it the same direction, and I'm going to make the little zigzags coming back down. Isn't that fun? And when you get to the bottom, I'm going to get a little more yellow on there as I go. I'm going to just come right back up the center of the thistle. So see, you just go up, and it's just a little spiky, and you come down. All you got to do is just do this wiggle. Can you guys see the wiggle?
Oh, yeah.
And it's really fun. I really like it. So I'm going to get a little more green on there again, and a little bit of my yellow. I've got some of my glazing medium in there. I'm going to come from the bottom and make a nice, big, beautiful leaf. Isn't that nice?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to get a little green on this one here. And again, a little of the yellow. Just a touch. Like you can kind of see it, but it's just sort of kissed in there. And I'm going to go ahead and make that little spiky wiggle. And come down. I always do that. And make the little spiky wiggle coming right back down. Just go right up the middle of there. And if you want to do a darker vein on this one, you can. You can come up from your stem and bring up a darker vein. And this is just the coat one, so you're just getting that first little paint on. It's just really wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to come over here. I'm going to make another little one. He's going to go up, 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 up. He's going to curve down and flow out. Isn't that great?
Oh, yeah.
Now I might move my canvas so that I have a better angle. And that was something that I had to do, is I had to kind of get the perfect angle. I'm going to come up. Just on this one, I'm going to zigzag. And I come down. Zigzagging. I'll get right into my yellow this time. And I'll just come right up here. How you guys doing?
Good. This is really cool.
I love this. This is fun for me. Now I'm going to rinse out a little bit.
I like thistly flowers.
I also like me some thistly flowers. Now these are dry. We can't really do anything about this until this dries a little bit. But these up here are dry. So we're going to have some fun. We're going to shade it out a little bit. We're going to pull a little of our yellow in. Here's my little glazing. But again, if you don't have glazing, you can still do this painting. So I'm getting that bright color. I'm going to get a little white on here. I want you to come right in the middle of your thistle. And you're going to make a nice little highlight. Right? Right in the middle of your thistle. Nice little highlight. And get a little more color on there, because it's still, you got to leave room for there to be light enough for the little spikes. There we go. I added a little more yellow to it. And I can load up my little brush here with a little bit of this color. I'll get my darker green. And now if you want, you can come up your stem.
Okay, there you are.
I'm going to come down at the bottom and do the same thing. I'm going to very carefully come up my stem and make a highlight.
See.
Right into that. I'm going to come right up here and make a highlight right into that. And then I'm going to take my nice, brighter color, and I'm going to get a little white on the tip of it. And I'm going to come and I'm going to add some personality to my leaves.
You got to be yourself.
So I'm just doing the same thing. I'm coming up on the inside, adding a little personality. Maybe this time I'll get just a little more white. See if we can get some personality on this guy. I'm just kind of coming inside the leaf on one side. And that gives it just a little bit of character, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to get my darker little green going again. And you can come here.
Ooh, those are sharp.
Yeah. And then you find the sharpness of your leaves. Look at that.
Oh, those are so cool. I was like reading. Oh.
There we go. We're just making those leaves sharper. So I'm just finding the little places that I implied my point. And I'm just making them pointier.
I like.
I have been painting thistles for a minute now. Because I'm like, this needs to be like a whole Sarah's with bees and like thistles and flowers all over my house.
You know, that's true. I've loved them, but I've never watched you paint them before. This is really one of the first really I mean, like you've done a couple of dandelions, which are thistly, and I like those.
Yeah, I love this type of flower. It's like one of my favorites. So see, now we've got those spikes that we want on our flower. And while I've got my dark color, I'll go ahead and get just a little more on my brush. And I'll just make sure that we have a nice blend here. See how we did? Is that fun?
That is.
Just a nice little blend right over that highlight. I'm going to get my darkest color, load it up, and finish my leaves by making a very dark vein down the center. And that makes them feel very wild and kind of hardy, if that makes sense. And you can come in and, you know, make sure your nice little shadow is very dark. And that's how you get the stems in. And you can do this on a big canvas. You can do this on a tiny canvas like an ATC like we do. There's a lot of options for this, so don't feel like you're at all trapped. Now, right now, it's a good idea to rinse your brush out very thoroughly. If you don't have another angle, right, then you're going to want to really make sure you've cleaned all the pigment out of this, because you don't want your purple to be anything less than spectacular.
You know what else is spectacular?
What?
That Jen and Charlotte and Jadine and Linda Ann and Mary all just donated some more to us to St. Jude. And we're now at $6.50.
No.
Yes.
No.
So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'll just keep sneaking in those little updates as we go, because I think you're awesome.
And you guys, check it. There's rewards. There's stuff you get. You get gifts. You get a gift.
There's a gift basket. You should check it out.
There's a, you do enough. John has to tell you a joke on air.
Yes. The laughing panda.
The laughing panda. You get to go fishing with John.
Oh, yeah, there's a fishing with stunt paws. That's fun.
And there's like this, there's this. And all the paintings that I've designed for this month are available. There's 10 of those available. Mm-hmm. So that's a reward you can do. I think those are at $1,000. I know, that's shocking. You're like, it's for the kids.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for coming and playing with us today, being part of our art family, and helping St. Jude do their magic. We are grateful for you guys. Thank you.
I'm taking just a brush with a little bit of water on it now that the paint is dry, and making sure that the little extra chalk lines that I don't want to show are, you know, gone and removed and, you know, no longer with us. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush. This is one of my faves, and I'm going to load up with my dark green again, because I realized I've got a very important thing to do. And I'm actually going to grab just this yellow, because I want it to just, you know, be a thing. And I'm going to come and I'm going to make a little downward spiral. And a little downward spiral. And I'm going to do kind of the same thing. Not maybe as involved as I did in the big bristles, but I'm going to I'll come this side and again make my little zig. Zig. And then here's me making the zig. I'll just turn my canvas around. You turn the canvas for your comfort. Don't, you know, turn yourself.
These zigs are very important.
They are super zigs.
Well, this is how the flower lets the cow know not to eat it.
I think the cow knows, man.
I'm very spiky. Do not eat me. That way the bumblebee can come by and land.
And we're just letting these be little spikes. And this, if you're wondering, this is like my mom's favorite brush in the universe. I always have to like get these for her. Is the 1/4 inch angle brush.
That's true.
I'm like, I'm at the art store. What do you need? 1/4 inch angle brush. Like, she whips through them, man.
Luckily now we know where to get them for her.
Yes.
So I'm going to send a package over.
Just making the little spikes. And remember, you can come out and, you know, you can accentuate these spikes. So you can make this very spiky. And these don't have to be as involved in color in any way. Now the next part is super fun. All right. So I'm going to get back into my big boy at first. And I'm going to get my purple that you see right here. And I'm going to add a little quinacridone to it. So it's a bit warm, you know. And what I mean by that is that the color is closer to the color of the sun than, say, the color of dark space. That would be another way of thinking of warmer and cooler colors. And I think it's always nice to get a little white into the mix. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come right here. And I'm going to make these little wispy, fluffy lines.
That brush stroke has some white in it.
I put a little white into the mix.
And you didn't blend it in there. You just because it's making that nice little streakiness on the canvas.
Yeah, and one nice thing I can do in the angles, and this is going to be really cool for the bees, I can come up and get some of this sort of painted on the wide. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
So that's sort of nice for me because that helps me start the flower, have nice coverage, and then continue to fluff my flower out as I see fit.
Yeah.
So I just come right on the tip. You see the short bristles are right here beginning the stroke, and the long bristles are finishing it. And I just let the end bristle. This is really nice for tree branches and grass. And I like my thistle. I think this thistle is going to get a little crazier and bigger, but I'm feeling fluffy today. We're calling the Bumble Bee in, saying, I has pollen for you. Go talk to my friends for me. See how we're doing?
Mm-hmm.
And this is sort of like an S stroke. So the stroke comes in and out. See that? So I'm going to go like this, in and out. And that's how I get it. And then I just finish on like, look at this one little hair. If I'm having trouble getting the paint off, I can always go into my glazing medium, pick up a little more color. I might get a little more of my white. And I can see my paint is drying on my palette. So I'll mist it a little bit. Because I'm having a day. So you really can't get this thistle wrong, just so you know. As long as it's like a fluffy little pink thing. There's so many kinds of these. You just might be like a North American thistle, South American thistle, East Asian thistle. There's a lot of thistle. This flower has been very successful. So I just let that continue to have its little dry. I'm going to load up my purple some more and get a little more of my white and glazing medium on there. So I've got a good flow. And I can come right down to this little guy and I can begin my little thistle using the wide. See how I'm using the wide? Mm-hmm. And that just starts to tell my story. It makes it a little easier for me so that I can then, maybe this one kind of gets more like a little fan. I can go like this. Make these little guys. But I got to leave room for the legs. If he gets too close, then there's no room for the legs. You got to make room for the wings and legs. Then I'm just, again, S-ing that back. Letting the brush make the flower for me. And I love this. This is exciting to you and you want to do big ones, you would just get a bigger brush. These go up into quite large sizes. I've got one this big. You could do a pretty big thistle.
Show me that again. That was awesome.
This is a really big thistle.
That is a big brush.
You see, I've got my little darker purple and I'm just enjoying my little flower. So here we are. I'm going to rinse out my brush a little bit. I'll make sure it's clean, clean, clean. And find my towel. And since I'm letting it dry just a touch, I'm going to take a little sip of coffee.
And I can say thank you to Mary and Michelle and Amber, and big thanks to Lady Fair and Robin, because we just crossed the 7:45 mark.
God, you guys are great.
Just rocking it along. So, and this is just us painting a thistle, being us. Just today.
So they've done therapy and then the other thing.
We've done a lot.
There's a thing
at
500. There was a really cool thing at 500.
I'll look it up. Oh, I think that's over 1 hour of physical therapy.
Oh, is that the 1 hour physical therapy?
Yeah, that's why I thought it was really cool.
That's like a big deal for physical therapy. It's not like when I go to physical therapy. It's
right
like
now,
a huge thing.
We've done both physical therapy and a red blood cell transfusion.
Which you need.
Yeah, that's for children.
But you know what else it does?
What does it do?
I'm gonna get this out.
Okay.
I'm gonna get this out. It's the most important thing I ever heard. When they told this to me, I bawled my eyes out, and then they made me paint with kids. So one of the things that happens when kids are in long-term radiation and chemotherapy is they lose the ability to eat, and it's really hard to keep their spirits up, which St. Jude is very committed to, is keeping the spirit up of the patient and the family, because they feel it's a component to healing. So kids will go through long periods of time when they're not eating. And when a kid wants to eat, that's critical. It's huge. And of course, if you're small and I'm going to get through this. If you're little, you want the foods that make you feel better. And so they have on site, they have chefs that are 24 hours a day, executive chefs. They grow their food. They raise their cattle. They do their own slaughtering. They control the food. Because they have patients who have diminished immune systems, they have to be able to control those things that are controllable. Way back in the day, there was a little boy that hadn't eaten for a very long time. And just one day he was like, he just really wanted to eat. And they were like, what do you want? And he's like, I want my grandma's mac and cheese. I'm okay. And so they called his grandmother and they went and learned how to make his grandmother's mac and cheese. And he ate like tons of it. But that is the mac and cheese that you get in the cafeteria at St. Jude today. And they do that for their patients. So even as we're shouting these things out, sometimes that's tracking down somebody's regional food and finding out how to make black skin chicken.
That's right.
In India, from a very rural part of India, and what spices are involved, or making sure a little boy has mac and cheese when he can finally eat again, or 3 trays of bacon at 3:30 in the morning. So
yeah. Janelle, everybody out there, thank you guys for helping us out, and we're gonna do our best to try to.
This just gets to me because my husband has Crohn's, so I get what a big deal it is to not be able to eat. I'm okay.
It's okay. Hey, everybody here.
The tour guide cries too during the story because it just gets you. You're just like, yes, mac and cheese.
Well, luckily, this is the stuff that we get to talk about because this is.
I'm have a little moment.
Well, you get to have a moment. It's your show.
Little paint rag. Yeah, but this is my happy thistle painting. I won't be not happy because it's for kids. Yay! All right, I'm going to load my brush back up again. So I've got a little water on here, and I'm going to get right into my pink, my little magenta. If I need a little glazing medium, I'll get that in there. And I'm going to grab some white. I'm going to make sure this is pretty streaky, right? You could even get a little of your purple so that it kind of blends. And I'm going to come and add the really fun pink layer. So first, on the edge of my brush, I'll just pull up a little bit of this very lightly. I'm not pressing hard. See how lightly I'm pressing?
Yeah.
It's just like a soft little kiss, kiss, kiss. When I have that pink in, I can add this layer of delicious and yummy pink. Sorry, that one just gets me.
Right. Everybody was sharing that moment with you. I think that
it's just incredible.
There was a whole bunch of tissue that was just
I have never had anyone make me cry so much that I still loved at the end of the tour. I was just following the whole tour. But it's actually a happy place. It's just the reason I think you get so touched is you just realize that there are good people in the world fighting for the important stuff, not getting caught up in the stupidity that we can all get so wrapped up in. And I mean, it happens to me, and it can happen to you. We can all get caught up in this unimportant stuff in life, get our feelings hurt, get all kinds of things happening. And then you meet these doctors and nurses and family well-being specialists and the people that stock the art room at Target House.
Yeah.
and you just go, wow. Some people just like, they get it. So I'm just doing the same thing I did with the purple, real light. I don't want to take all my purple out, right? Because I want to show, I want my thistle to have character. If my brush is overloaded, I can take it and kind of wipe it onto my palette and reload. Get a little white.
I can't imagine you making a thistle without character.
Well, I am a character, so I'm all sniffy now. It's a sniffy show. I apologize.
You're
Sorry
sniffy
for
the right reasons.
Sorry for my sniffies.
Well, they're for the right reasons, sniffy, so it's okay.
There's just no way to not feel this way. I'm so grateful to Danielle for inviting me to do this for the first year, and then having me come and do the tour was just life-changing. And then I got to meet Stephanie of How You Back, and she's like on our design team now, and she'll be streaming on Twitch doing exactly what we're doing. We're all like Team Derp Squad, and you can find other gamers and artists all fighting for the same cause through that hashtag across many platforms.
Sure.
I'm sorry for sniffing in everybody's nose.
Oh, it's okay.
I can't help it. I got the snips.
You want me to run you down some?
Oh my gosh, so much, yes, because I'm about to hit my paint rag. I'm gonna just keep dropping a little pink on here, and I'm just gonna keep dropping a little pink and a little white, maybe here at the center more, focusing the white right in the center. John's gonna find me some tissues so I can be less of a total hot mess. I'm gonna flip my brush over to get this nice. Yeah, I just flipped it and.
Okay.
Okay. Can you turn my sound off?
I think so. Okay, I think your sound is off. Let me check here. I even turned my audio off just to make sure. But I gotta make sure you're back on. Let me see here.
I'm okay. I'm loading up just a little purple, and I'm just finishing out my flower. Feeling better. And so I like to come back and put just a couple little purple kisses in there. A couple little places, right? Little purple kisses. Kiss, kiss, kiss. All right. We've got the pink. And the last weird little thing that we've got to do is the little spikes. But they're actually fun. And for that, I'm going to use my 1/4-inch ankle. But listen, you could also very carefully do that with a detail brush. And this is going to be listed in the description. This is like a #1 round detail. So there are options. Now for this, I like to get the lightest green I can for the center of the bulb, and then I'll do dark green for the outer bulb. So let's mix some brown in to get our dark green first. That way everything layers well. Outside first, and then we can work our way in, right? So I'm going to come from the, I think I'll come from the bottom. And I'm going to just make sure that there are some spikes. Right? Got to have a spiky ball.
Wow. I'm going to have to make you cry more often for St. Jude.
No, I mean, I don't mind, but it's not, I don't mean to represent them at all by crying, because it's such a happy place. It's really, for as rough as what's happening there, they go to such a degree to make sure that it's a place where you can feel normal and okay in the most unnormal. Oh, see, here I am again. Unnormal situation. Like when we painted, there was a little boy that painted with me, and he had brought like contraband pencils.
That's right.
And he's been there like years. Been there years. Kids can be there for, 2, 3, 6, 10 years. And you're never, once you're a patient, you're always a patient. So if your illness ever comes back, they will always take care of you. So I'm going to do some spikes down the stem. Mm-hmm. Just little spikes to be thistly.
Just so that they don't get picked.
Yes. Nobody's picking them. We're all going to admire them.
That's right. They made sure of it.
Now I'm going to get right into my white and maybe a little more yellow. I'm going to make a bright thistle. And if I need to, let's get some glazing medium to improve that flow in our dry conditions. So what you see me doing sometimes is I'm wiping the paint out of the brush because I'm mixing with a too small of a brush, and the paint will creep up. Creeps up. All right, now I've got these for my nice little, and now I can give my little ball the rest of its little thistles. See? And I just make these kind of around. Curving, following the lines of things. I try not to make neat rows, just simply because, they're not neat, the little thistles. So like here in the center, I might put some here and make some more central or focal. You see those little spikies?
Yeah.
It's a very spiky little flower. And I just come here and again, little come up this side. There we go. And then we're off to the bee. And who doesn't love to paint the Mr. Bee? So just pulling those nice little spikes, making sure that the flowers feel like they have defended themselves well. I feel like they have.
The flowers are they have taken a defensive position.
All right. So one of my secret weapons, but you don't have to use it, is my fluid black. I've got some heavy body black here, which is skinned on me and dried. So I'm going to have to put some fresh black out because you don't want dried paint. Doesn't do its thing particularly well. I'm going to where's my black? And I'm going to go back to my 1/2 inch brush. You could use a cat's tongue. You could use a braid. I mean, it's really about your pressure and the way you finish a stroke. But this is a very helpful, wonderful tool. All right. So I've got some water on there, and I'm going to pull some black paint just right on. And if you remember, I kind of chalked it in, but I'm going to do this stronger now, okay, so you guys can really see it. So I start my little bee, and I make a little curve above my flowers. I've got to leave room for the legs, right? That's very important. And his little head is sort of like a little ball shape right here. And then there's another little bump. And then it kind of comes around here. And I know exactly what it looks like for all of you snickering in the chat. And I always thought that was super funny. And you got to make sure that you're thinking about making him fluffy enough. So the trick is you've got to make him pretty big, right?
Yes.
And you don't want to make him too long. Like I made him almost too long there. That was going to mess with his little shape. Right. So when we're looking at him, he's like just a little bit bigger than my hand. I'll give you the exact measurement. My little busy bee is 4 inches. That's how big my bee is. Let's get some glazing medium. Sometimes black does not cover well, especially if you've got economy paint. So realize that you don't need to panic about that because he's done in several layers. And my first thing is to try to get his basic shape in. I'm painting it very loosely in. If you had the traceable, you could just use your traceable to get him in. But you can see he's actually pretty drawable. Kind of looks like a, like a, made me think of Mr. Hanky. But he's not. He's a little fuzzy bee. I love watching bumblebees fly. Because they've got that sort of like, I'm up, nope, I'm not up. I'm up, I'm not up. Kind of vibe going on. Once I've got that in, I can use my fluid or you can use your heavy bodied. Either is fine. But I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to do some important stuff. I'm using the flat of the brush. Hopefully you guys can see what I got going here. See, I'm using it to make the fluff. It's on the edge and I'm flicking it out. Fluffy. When I make the corner, I just turn the brush. Fluffy. Fluff, fluff. Up top, fluff, fluff. There's more fluff, so give yourself room for fluff. Because you won't be done fluffing him for a minute. So I like to use my soft body. That's like the heavy body holds its shape, and the soft body is more like craft paint, where it's self-leveling. What I'm using is in no way craft paint, though. It's got a lot of pigment, super archival. All right, now as I'm coming down here, sometimes I like to think about the direction of his fluff, and I'll fluff up his back. See how I gave myself that extra room because he grows. He gets fatter every time I do him. He's an ample love bee. And you can even come and take the edge of the brush and fluff things. So, just know that you've got lots of options to get this little fluffiness out. And that's what you're doing. You're just fluffing your little bee. Fluff him, fluff him, fluff him. So he just needs to be fluffy. Fluffy bee.
Fluffy.
Fluffy bee. They each have a different personality every time I do them.
I love it.
Now, because this is a real dry brush technique, I like to rinse my brush out, and then I'm going to just show you a couple of things. You don't have to do the sketch. I just want you to see where I'm going to be going.
Okay.
So up here at the front, I'm going to make this little sort of teardrop eye. See that there? And then I'm going to have one little antenna, and then a second little one. And one little leg is going to come like that, and it's got a little friend. This one bends forward and a little bit back and can be longer. And it's real fun because you can get kind of traily and weird with these. So I'm making longer one short, and then we got these little back ones. Huh. And then it's fun. The wings are actually in the fur, and then they come up a nice arc. And how we're going to do those, we're going to actually really dry brush those so they seem very transparent, right? I'm just drawing my little bee wing in. So it's super narrow here, widens up, and we're going to connect there. Come down and make another little second little bee wing, right? And then a tucked one right here. We've got a little yellow stripe that is about here because there's a nice bit of black right before the eye. And I got a little yellow here, a little yellow here. There's another little yellow bit that comes back here. And then we have the bit of white here and some gray. So let me show you how you put that in. So first, I'm going to get a little of my black. Just loading up and get a little white. See, I'm making this sort of dark gray. And you can come here and just very softly add some gray. Right here, like go up a little bit. There we go. You can put a little bit here at the little cheek. Soft kisses maybe here and there. And then, of course, there's got to be some little stronger at the little bumbly butt. Bumbly butts. Right?
Yeah.
So very, very cool.
Yep.
Rinse this out so much because to get your yellow to be bright is a real trick. You got to make sure your black is dry to get your yellow to be bright. I'm going to get a little of my yellow loaded up. And this is still my 1/2 inch. And if you have trouble, you can always switch to your 1/4 inch. You can always switch to a round detail. I'm going to get some of my white over here. I'm going to add just a smidge of white because I do want my yellow to be bright. And I'm going to kind of fluff him this way. See how I'm pushing the bristles up? Little fluff. Little fluff. He's a little bit fluffy. Right here. And then we can come and add some fluff to this side. Fluff him. Fluffy. Fluffy.
Super fluffy.
Fluffy. Fluffy me. Love him. Love him. All right. Give him a little cheek kiss right here. Maybe a little cheek kiss right there. They all change each time I do them. They're just a little bit. They have their own little markings and their own little personalities, right? Mm-hmm. All right. I'm going to rinse my brush off and sip my coffee. And then we'll finish our bee out real quick.
And my gosh, they are committed out here. Our community has come together, and Lori and Annette and Gail jumped in a second time, and Diane and April and Angela and Nora and Pam and Kathy and Renee, who's an oncology nurse. They're all in here committed. We're already at 9:45, and they are really, really just coming together around St. Jude. So thank you guys. Really appreciate it. And we're gonna stay focused on this fluffy
I know they
bee.
do. And I'm gonna tell you another way that you can help St. Jude that you might not know.
Okay.
If you go to their website, they have ways that you can help, and then they also have more information. But what you might not know is that they are looking for patients that fit the illnesses that they're treating. You can be from anywhere in the world. You don't just have to be from the U.S. And you can go there and you can see what they're treating. And I want to say, by the end of this, I'm going to like not cry every time I say this. They have the best treatment for treating non-operable brain tumors in children, in pediatric children. It is incredible. In normal treatment for this just shocked me. So if your child has a non-operable tumor, and they have to do radiation and chemo, it does what's called splash damage, which harms the brain and can lower the IQ by 40 to 60 points, which you can imagine is a big deal. But they have a particle accelerator 6 stories down at St. Jude that they put in. This is the only fully dedicated pediatric one. And they do this thing like a laser printer, and they can target the tumor without splash damage. So not only can they kill it, that tumor, but they can preserve quality of life. Super collider.
Denise just donated again. She's just like, thank you, Sherpa. You're making me cry.
It caught me. I'm here for you guys. Like,
we're all
I don't fly, but I will fly for St. Jude.
This bee is flying.
This, though, I'm going to be like, yes, it's a super collider, and not like, he's a happy bee.
You have to give me some warning before you blow.
I'm sorry.
I muted you anyway.
Okay. It was just coming. I should not do good like this much makeup if I'm going to be. Let's finish our fuzzy bee.
Let's get our bee going.
Our bee is doing so good. All right. If you have a smaller brush, if you have a small bright, if you have a small detail, we're going to do the wings in a slightly smaller brush.
We'll do our last thank you for everybody before we go.
Okay. Yes. We're going to do our last thank you right before we go. So I'm going to get a little tiny bit of black on my brush, and I'm going to come over to my yellow. Right? And I'm going to kind of just gray this yellow with the black. And I'm going to make sure it's really incorporated and well thought into my brush, right? So that I have control. And I'm going to add white to this. And see, I'm getting kind of this like off-white wing color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come right in front of my yellow stripe, and I'm going to make a little line up very lightly. Short bristles, starting the line, long bristles finishing it. And then I'm going to bring this line up. It's going to be shorter. And then I'm just going to very softly, letting a lot of the canvas kind of show through, dry brush. See, I'm dry brushing this little wing. So some of it's solid and some of it's not. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to load up again. And I'm going to make a little brush stroke, again, a little shorter. And then finish that with that little side stroke, and then just dry brush that down. A little dry brush, because their wings are a little bit transparent, so you'd see a bit of the sky behind it. Right here, same thing, a little dry brush. It doesn't take a lot of paint, and you want a lot to show through. Then I'm going to get some white, and I'm going to make kind of a strong mark right there. And just a couple of these. These are like the little cells of the wing. Maybe one right here. One at this tip. Another sort of on the inside. You can't really do this wrong. And then sometimes like a little dots. I like to do the little dots right there. So that's the beginning of my wing. And we'll finish that out when we do the antennas and the legs. So I've got my little yellow fluff. And the first thing I'm actually going to want to do is get a little more of my yellow on here. And kind of my glazing medium to improve flow. I'm going to go around and sort of improve the coverage I have. See how I'm improving that? Yeah. Of that yellow. And making sure that it's as fluffy as possible.
Super fluffy.
Super fluffy. Come back here. Super fluffy. Super yellow. Super fluffy. You're so fluffy. So cute. I'm fluffy. And then I'm going to get, I do talk like this even when I'm not on air, just so you guys know.
She does.
John's like, what are you doing? Fluffy! It's so fluffy! Expect a lot of fluffy. So I'm taking my quinacridone and my yellow. Can you guys see this?
I do.
And I'm making kind of like an orange. And I'm going to come here, and I'm going to tip just a little bit of this into his little, not too much, because it can get out of control real fast. And then again, a little bit like right here. And I'm going to come blush him just a bit. See, that's like almost like a little blush.
Yeah.
I'll wipe this off. Can you grab that, John? That dog's going. She's like, there's a cat out the window.
That's what all it is.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, babe.
She'll be okay.
Is she okay?
Yeah.
See, the cat's really upset her. They know she can't get them, and they're just like, they come by that window, and then they rub on the window. I'm sure if you have dogs and cats in the neighborhood, you've seen the same thing.
She'll be in here in a second. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I just wiped off my brush, and I got a little white, and I'm going to just add a little bit of that. They just sort of fluffing that out so that there's just some, you're just working your fur. Work your fur, work your fur. How's that? Super fun. Right? Super good.
Gotta work that fur like a bee.
Gotta work that fur like a bee.
Gonna be on the flower walk.
Gotta be on the flower walk. So the next thing I like to do on him is like to get just a little white wipe. Come here and just kiss his little bum with just a little extra white, right? Just a little bit of extra white. And then I'm going to rinse this out. And this is a nice little finishing touch. Even though it adds a little time to the video, I think this is worth it. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to come back and layer my black fur a little bit over my yellow. See? Just makes that feel a little more real, doesn't it? So, you know, these little touches, they can make a big difference in how something looks when it's finished. Now, all we have is the detail work, and it's pretty fun. I'm going to get my small detail brush, and I'm going to treat myself to, it's just like the black, but this is a white. Again, you can use craft paint, or you can just thin your heavy body paint. All fine. It's all fine. I'm going to get a little water on my brush. I'm going to get a little black and a little white. And I'm going to make a nice little kind of soft gray. And I'm going to come around his little eye and kind of line it with the softer gray. You know, like you do.
Like you do.
Like I do. Like somebody does.
Like
I don't
one
know.
does.
I'm going to get my black paint on here now. Watch for if you do a deep rinse like I do. So I do a deep rinse on my detail brushes. And what that means is little drops of water come down, which is why you always see me wiping my brush.
Deep rinse.
Deep rinse.
This needs to go into the Sherpa brush FAQ.
Deep rinse those detail brushes. So I'm going to just, you know, kind of come in here and fill this out. You can come around his eye. I'm just making sure that, you know, his little eye has that little deep blackness inside of it. Then I'm going to load a little on my tip. I'm going to show you my trick to do antennas. So I'm going to press in hard a little bit, and then as I come out, I lighten, and then I'm going to sort of turn. See, it's like almost like cutie.
Yeah.
Just turn and then turn a little bit lighter. Now, how I get my fine lines is my pressure's light. As I want the line to become finer, I just lighten my pressure. I'm going to come here and make a little leg. It's going to come down, be a little thick to the joint, and then it's going to bend back. See how buggy that is?
Yeah.
But it's cute buggy, not scary buggy. I think some buggies are cute, but I do understand when people feel like I don't really like bugs.
I would say it's buggy, not creepy.
Buggy, not creepy is correct. I take a little bit of that black, and I'm going to come in. This is just real light, and it's like almost like sketching with a paintbrush. I'm going to come to the wing, and I'm just going to make little delicate lines. Where I've made tiny little cells, I might come and define those, see? Just a little bit to say, hey, wing. It has a wing. It's flying a bee. You see how they do? Right? You see how those bees do. Like a bee do. Like Zip Frank would say, like a bee do.
Looked like you had bee do earlier.
Did. When I first painted him, I was like, oh, there's no way there's not going to be jokes. All right, rinse, rinse, rinse. I want to get all the black out, and then I'm going to grab my white. And I'm going to make, in the eye, I'm going to go tap, 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 tap. This sort of little reflection. I like to come around the eye a bit. Make a bit of a reflection here. Maybe a little dot here. It's weird. These little dots are like super essential to bugs. They have these weird little reflections because they have the exoskeletons, and you want to definitely catch that strange shine that can happen on an insect when you're painting a little insect. That's it. I might give him a little one on this particular antenna this time. All right. That is a fat little fluffy Bumble Bee. And I'm going to take my wonderful white paint. I'm going to flip my painting on this corner, I guess. And I'm going to sign right here. It's not going to disrupt the painting, but it does let people know who made it. I like to think about my signatures and consider how they impact my art.
There's a question of how many legs a bee has.
I don't know.
We got 6
Not
on this
8.
one. Not 8.
I don't know. I think these are like the little, I don't know, eaty things.
I think we're good.
I just looked at a bunch of macro photographs online. I was like, leggies!
Now we're going to have to make the Sherpa cry here again.
No.
I'm just going to say
I'm gonna
thank you
my
to our
coffee.
Sherpa community before we go, because we've had a lot of help here. And I'm going to say, I know Brenda came in, and Irene, and Deborah, and Cheryl, and Christine, and Jacqueline came in with a big help, big $100 donation. And Bonnie, and Keziah, and Barbara, and Barbara and someone, but the name is cut off there. So Barbara and I'm guessing Dave, because it's DAV, and Craig and Nina and Linda, all you guys, thank you. They've brought us to 1270. So
thank you.
Thank
you. And remember, John owes some of you a joke.
Some
of you get gift baskets. We're going to make sure you guys get shout outs. Definitely, check your rewards, your incentives. Get John on air. Paint and ATC.
I'm looking forward to it, guys.
I think it's going to be really, really cool. Now, if you want to hear a joke, come back tomorrow for the Mystical Forest.
Mm-hmm.
And John will have to tell you guys a joke on air.
We're going to come up with stuff.
Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Hug your babies. Hug your friends' babies. And I want to see you at the Easel really soon. Bye-bye.